What's up, guys? Coach Dane here on the Fit for What podcast. Today I have Coach Gabe with me. Gabe, say what's up.
What's up, guys? Coach Gabe here.
Yeah. Couple quick announcements before we get started. We have a ring muscle up workshop coming up. That is January 25th. It's a Saturday. We'll be doing that at 10:30. Costs $20. You can find the details on Facebook. We have it posted in the community group. And also, it'll just link you to Eventbrite. That's where you'll buy your ticket online ahead of time. And one more thing we have is Grit Squad. Make sure you guys are showing up, signing into your classes, staying consistent with all that. Be sure that you're signing in. I've noticed a couple people already.
Not checking into Watify.
Yeah, not checking into my
classes. Make sure you
classes.
check into Watify. That way we can keep track of it.
All right, what do we got today? Today we are talking about the Whole Life Challenge. Gabe, Coach Gabe, he's running the Whole Life Challenge this year for us. Gabe, what is the Whole Life Challenge?
So the Whole Life Challenge is a 6-week habit-based program where you are basically going to be logging all of your habits for every day. Those habits include nutrition, exercise, sleep, mobilization, practicing well-being, hydration, which is like one thing that I know a lot of us lack, and what's the last one?
We have, reflecting, daily reflecting.
Yeah, daily reflecting,
Yeah.
which is actually like a really, really good skill to practice. Just kind of sitting down at the end of the day, you're gonna log all of your results into the Whole Life Challenge website at the end of each day. You get 5 points for each habit. The only habit that isn't like a,
It's all or nothing.
yeah, the only one that's not all or nothing would be nutrition. So for each different level, which we'll get into in a minute, you're going to get a 0 out of 5, 5 being whether you completed it, 0 you didn't complete it. The only one that you don't do that with is nutrition. You give you give yourself a score, like a 3 out of 5 or a 4 out of 5, depending on what you ate that day. So, if you splurged a little bit, you might have had like an alcoholic beverage or a little treat, you would just give yourself a couple points off for that day.
Yeah, all right. So you mentioned 7 daily habits, you kind of touched on them. Let's go through each of them, break them down, see what we get credit for, what we don't get credit for. Let's start number 1. We'll talk about exercise. We are a gym after all, so exercise, one of the main things we do here.
One of the main things.
Exercise, I see we have minimum of 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, 10 minutes a day. That does include CrossFit classes. That includes 9-hit classes, obviously. But also, maybe if it's an active recovery day or you're not coming into the gym that day, it could be a 10-minute walk out of the park, 10-minute bike ride. Keep it simple. Really, anything that keeps you moving and keeps you active that day counts as part of your exercise. So yeah, 10 minutes a day, it's super achievable. Not really anything that's out of the ordinary. Should be pretty easy to get that in.
For sure. So definitely wouldn't recommend doing a CrossFit class every single day
No,
for 6 weeks during this Whole Life Challenge.
That's not what you need to do.
But on those days that you have off, definitely on the weekends, get outside, go for a little walk like Gabe said, 10-minute walk, grab your dog, grab your friend, whoever.
For sure.
Go for a little walk and get outside, get some sunlight, all the good stuff. Cool. Number 2, what do you want to talk about next? Nutrition,
yeah. So
favorite.
Another key component, of course, that is definitely one of my favorite topics as far as the Whole Life Challenge goes, but with nutrition, this is going to be a little bit different. You're scoring yourself each day using the 5-point system that we were kind of talking about. And there's different levels to this. So we have our beginner level, we have a lifestyle level, and as well as a performance level. So this is all going to kind of depend on what you're doing right now. Each level has a different list of compliant foods. I know like a big difference with between lifestyle and performance is with performance, there's absolutely no alcohol, no dairy, no gluten involved in the performance. Lifestyle, I believe a couple of those things are in there. I think you're allowed to kind of have like maybe 1 alcoholic beverage a week. And then also you get bonus points. So for every day that you score all of your points, you're able to kind of add up these bonus points. And so if you do want to have a treat or you do want to indulge in something, you're able to, use those treats, but without sacrificing points.
Right on. Cool. So beginner, think of that as like the level 1, maybe the basic entry level. Just trying to establish some like super base level habits
Right. Eating quality foods, making sure you're getting meals in a day. Nothing that's, really just cutting out the junk and eliminating some of the garbage and trying to kind of clean it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at the list now. Looks like some of this stuff is a little tricky. You might actually have to watch out for, like hydrogenated oils.
Right, yeah. A lot of oils, palm oils, things like that. Oils that they kind of sneak in there. A lot of processed foods, really, is going to be some of the stuff that you're going to have to avoid off the bat, depending on what level you're doing. But most levels, I feel like they pull a lot of the oils out and a lot of the processed foods, processed sugars. Definitely, I don't think that's involved in any of the levels.
Right.
Which, usually
So
the two biggest things.
Let's take a step back for a second. If
Yeah.
I say eat a hydrogenated oil, and I'm not supposed to, based on I'm in the lifestyle category. It's a little bit the intermediate level. I have something with hydrogenated oil. I go out to eat at a restaurant, whatever they cook with it. I would get 1 point off just for that item.
Yes, 1 point off for each item.
1 point off for each item.
Right.
So if I have 5 hydrogenated oils,
That's 5 points, bro. You lost
points,
nutrition for that day.
I lose all my points. Dang it. So yeah, that'll slowly add up, especially if you're going out to eat on the weekends. Weekends probably the biggest one where nutrition is going to be a factor. If you go out to eat, have something with oils in it, boom, that's 1 point there.
Right.
Maybe you have a little dessert, boom, that's another point gone there, and then you have a drink to top it all off, boom, that's 3 points gone.
Exactly.
Just like that in one little couple hours.
Right.
So you gotta be careful.
Yeah,
build those habits.
it's going to make you more mindful of it. And remember, as we go through this, we're going to be doing this as a group. So I'm going to do my part to try and give you guys an idea of, whole life challenge compliant restaurants, as well as maybe whenever you are going to restaurants, kind of like looking at the menu beforehand, coming up with a couple tips and tricks. And that way it's going to make it a little bit more feasible for us to do this. And we are doing this as a group.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yep.
Sweet.
Cool.
What do we got next?
Mobilization.
Oh, real quick before we move on.
Yeah.
How should I choose what level I do?
Yeah.
Beginner, lifestyle, performance. What's a good tip?
Really good question. So to choose what level, what I highly recommend is look at the compliant food list. That way you can kind of get an idea of the difference between beginner, lifestyle, and performance, and kind of make sure that, if you're already following lifestyle, then don't select the lifestyle, compliant list. You would want to go ahead and select performance. Select something that's going to be challenging to you. Mm-hmm. So really, like I said, look at those compliant food lists and kind of see what you're eating now, and maybe kind of come up with what you think would be best for you to eliminate from your diet.
Fair enough. Choose, kind of see where you're at now, and maybe pick the next step up.
Pick the next step up, exactly. Yeah,
Cool.
Good way to put that.
Awesome. Next up, mobilization. Mobilization or stretching. I guess we could count stretching as mobilization.
Stretching.
This is another one, just like the exercise, we have a 10-minute a day requirement. What are we counting as this? Coming in, get a little stretching before the workout, after the workout? What are we talking about?
I would consider, if you come in, grab the foam roller before you hit class, maybe do that for 5 or 10 minutes. That counts as mobilization. Some banded stretching before class, getting that in. One thing that I could think of that not enough of us put to use here at CrossFit 9 is our ROMWOD account. So definitely pulling out one of the iPads, throwing up ROMWOD, and just even one of their shortened routines. Usually their shortened routines last like 12, 14 minutes. They're not super long, so. A couple extra minutes definitely won't kill you, and for every hour that we're exercising, we should definitely be doing at least 10, if not 15 minutes of recovery afterwards. So
At least.
At least.
One of the hardest things to do.
It is. I know, it's really hard to pull out that yoga mat, but it's definitely going to make a difference. That's one of those things that your joints will definitely thank you for in the long run. And I guarantee you, if you are not doing any stretching or mobilization right now, and you start with even 10 minutes a day, you're definitely going to notice a difference.
Mm-hmm, for sure. I know there's the 7 a.m. crew, actually, they're really good about coming into the small room after class and firing up ROMWOD.
Yeah.
And they say it makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah, every day. Yeah. Every day you see them in here, and that's definitely a big difference. And then one note that that I like that you put on here is get on the floor when you're at home. That's a really cool little tip. How many times will we just go home, throw on Netflix or read a book or something like that, and it's really not that hard to just jump on the floor, pull out a mat, and you can sit in pigeon pose and read a book at the same time. That's 2 birds with 1 stone right there. So
for sure, yeah. Even if you pop on Netflix or whatever, we're not saying you necessarily have to cut out all that stuff, but when you're just sitting on the couch, slumped over, not the best position to be in.
Exactly.
So yeah, just pop it on the floor, get into like a little 90-90 position, or like a little forward fold while you're while you're watching Netflix at night, or even on the computer, or whatever you're doing at night. That's a little hack that I've been doing lately. Just pop on the floor.
Yeah.
Even have a couple like mobility balls that
There you go.
I intentionally place like right
Around
by
the
the
house.
floor. Like yes, I
Can't walk by them without like picking one up, doing a little bit of self-mobilization. That'll definitely help.
for sure. See it there. I'm gonna more likely.
Yeah,
use
and
it.
that's actually another note. If you don't have any of those type of tools at the house, foam rollers are pretty inexpensive, as well as lacrosse balls and stuff like that. You can go on Amazon. I highly recommend, if you don't have some of those things at the house, definitely purchase those. Those are kind of key little accessories to have around the house, and that way, it makes mobilizing a little bit easier.
For sure.
And especially a yoga mat too. If you don't have one of those, buy a yoga mat.
Ooh, yeah. Cool.
All right, good.
Mobilization, awesome. Stretching, we got that covered.
Yeah.
Sleep. Woo! This one can be a little challenging, the sleep
can.
component. Let's see what we got. How's this one work? Sleep. We all sleep.
So
Yeah, we all sleep at different times, wake up at different times, different schedules. What do we got going for sleep?
Yeah, really good points here. Sleep is the duration of your choice, and what we really mean by that, we want to
choose.
We're gonna you going into this, you pick the amount of hours that you're gonna sleep per night, or at least the goal amount of hours that you want to sleep each night. So, but we want to make it reasonable, right? If you're only getting like 6 hours of sleep, for example, that's me. On average, I get about 6 hours of sleep. I want to try and make it a point to get 6.5 or 7 hours of sleep. So I set my goal at 7 hours of sleep.
Cool. So this is another one, like see where you're at now, maybe bump it up an hour.
Exactly.
You don't wanna
even
go too
30 minutes
crazy.
more.
Right.
You just a little bit more sleep than you're normally getting.
Choose a little, if you go try to do 2 or 3 hours extra, you're probably not going to be making your goal.
It's not realistic. If you're only sleeping like 6 hours right now and you're trying to shoot for 8 or 9, you might get it once or twice a week, but we want to make it to the point where you're doing that every day is the goal. That's really the point of this.
Cool. Awesome. Do you have any tips you got for
sleeping?
Meeting your goals? Yeah.
Meeting the goals for sleep. Number one, set a bedtime. Setting a bedtime and keeping consistent sleep patterns definitely do a world of good. I know, especially since I've been doing a lot of early morning stuff lately, like 9 o'clock, that's my cutoff time. It's
Right.
I'm in bed by 9 almost every night, and then usually another little practice that I try and I've been working on is cutting off all electronics an hour before I go to bed. So like,
That's a great one.
yeah, definitely. 8 o'clock, and even lights, try and cut all the lights off for the most part. I know you're a big fan of the blue light glasses.
Yeah, I got a pair of those.
Yeah, the blue light blockers.
Every night, like around 8 o'clock, boom,
Yeah.
break out the blue light glasses. Yeah, I find it helps, especially when you're looking at bright things. Like, it's hard to avoid screens completely.
Right.
Sometimes you still got messages for work or whatever coming through, stuff going on.
You gotta play on the laptop a little bit or do something like that.
Yeah, whatever you're trying to
Or
work
if you're
on.
reading on like a Kindle or something like that, that can definitely help. That's one thing I'm definitely gonna buy going into this challenge for sure. But yeah, as far as kind of a couple other things to help with sleep, come up with a nighttime routine. Cut off the electronics. Another thing that's gonna kind of go hand in hand with this one is the daily reflecting. So I know, like personally, I like to have I have like a little agenda / journal, if you will, that I'm able to kind of go through and just kind of write down everything that I did that day. One practice that I think we've both been doing is the power list. So every day coming up with like 5 little things that are going to benefit you and kind of work towards your goals and work towards your habits, which is very similar to what we're already doing with the Whole Life Challenge.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that way you can that daily reflection is definitely a really good part of having kind of being part of your nighttime routine to kind of reflect on your day, and then also kind of set yourself up for the next day, next day to come.
I like that. And one more thing, as far as establishing a bedtime, I like to look at what time I have to wake up the next morning and then kind of work backwards from there. That way, it seems a little bit obvious, but it doesn't always happen. You're like, yeah, I need to be in bed by 10, but then check the clock, it's already 10:30, 11, boom, your sleep's already done for.
Right, yeah.
So just being a little bit more on top of that
Yeah.
helps, it goes a long way.
Right, yeah, kind of coming up with that before nighttime comes, definitely.
Yep.
If you know you have to be up the next day at 5 a.m., definitely.
Gotta get bed early.
Got to get to bed early.
Give yourself some buffer time too. Usually it takes a good 30 minutes to an hour to actually fall asleep.
Right.
So like you said, nighttime routine, kind of winding down slowly,
Yeah.
and then by the time you actually do fall asleep, you're still getting that full night's
Yeah, for
rest.
sure. Definitely giving yourself some time to wind down. One other trick, actually, that I will say, going for a walk before bed. That's one thing. A little nighttime walk. That can even be your 10 minutes of exercise that day. or a little bit of
2 birds
mobility
with
or
one
stretching.
stone. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to do it, kind of combining these habits so that they kind of go hand in hand and work together,
Yep.
to kind of be able to scratch off both those daily habit goals.
Oh yeah, that's why they call it lifestyle, right?
That's the point. And whenever you're doing this stuff, we want to make sure it's, you're doing it in a manner that's not, unrealistic. Kind of comes naturally.
Definitely. All right, moving on. Almost there. We got hydration. This
Yeah.
is one definitely. Last time we did Whole Life Challenge, I struggled with this one big time.
Yeah.
Only 1/3 your body weight you have to drink.
That's not really, I mean, for me, like I pretty much hit that like 2 hours into my day. And I have a couple practices and a couple tips and tricks that I'll share with you guys in order to be able to kind of hit those goals. So yeah, 30 your body weight, like for me, I'm 170 pounds. So I believe off the top of my head, it comes out to a little bit less than 60 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 56 ounces when I did the math. When I wake up, I usually hydrate right off the bat. I used to wake up and I'd like not even drink water. I'd just go straight for a cup of coffee. And that's like the worst thing you can do to yourself because it just dehydrates the hell out of you.
Isn't there water in coffee?
No, bro. I mean, technically, but yeah, no.
Doesn't count.
It does not count. Coffee does not count towards water consumption. Let's be clear on that. Lindsay's
Lindsay.
crying in the background. Just grab a glass of water. And one other trick that
How much do you drink in the morning?
how much do I drink?
One small glass? 16 ounces? What are we talking?
I'll do at least 16 ounces.
Okay, nice. That's a lot more than me.
But usually what I've been doing, it might sound a little crazy. In the first hour of my day, I try and consume 32 ounces of water.
Nice.
So that's right at a liter. And that just kind of, once I start my day out with that, I kind of feel like that carries on through the rest of my day. And I've noticed if I don't start my day with that, like if I miss that, then like the rest of my day is just like, yeah, exactly. It's thrown off. I'm not drinking water for the rest of the day kind of thing. And there's a couple other little things I'll do. I have like a little water tonic that I'll mix. So I'll do like apple cider vinegar, a little bit of lemon juice, and some Himalayan pink salt. Mix that all together and drink that. That kind of keeps you hydrated. The salt helps you retain water throughout the day. A couple little things like that.
Some electrolytes?
Yeah, give you a little bit of electrolytes. You can always throw a little cream of tartar in there, give you some potassium and magnesium, a couple important minerals to kind of keep you energized throughout the day.
For sure.
Yeah.
What do you say to people like me who take a couple sips of water and then I feel like I just have to go to the bathroom like constantly, all day long? I'm not trying to be coaching class and then I have to run to the bathroom.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's how you feel, by all means, like you don't want to excessively hydrate to the point where you're going to the bathroom every 30 minutes to an hour, and you definitely don't want to overhydrate to the point where you're at risk of like hyponatremia, where you're overhydrated and kind of urinating out all of your minerals, if you will. But the most part, I feel like not enough of us we're not getting enough water in general.
Yeah.
So that's not something we really have to worry about for the most part.
Cool. One tip I have, going back to the coffee thing. Lately, I've been a coffee fiend. So what I'll do is force myself to have like a big glass of water before I can drink my coffee.
Hey, yeah.
So that way I get a little bit of hydration before I go into the.
Yeah, I really like that. That's a good one. Also, a glass of water before each meal is another good one. Mm-hmm. That's another really good little tip and trick too.
So just trying to find ways to stagger these waters throughout the day, and then you add those up, one in the morning,
right? Maybe
1 or 2 in the morning, one with a coffee, a couple before meals, boom, right there, you're pretty much at 60 ounces.
Should be hitting your goal by then, And also having have a water bottle on hand, Definitely, whether it's a Yeti water bottle, whatever it is. Stop using plastic.
There you go. All right, well-being is our next one. Well-being. This one, I think this one changes throughout as the weeks go on.
Yeah.
Well-being. They introduce new practices for you to do. I think last time I did it, they had you do something about gratitude, like list 3 things.
Right.
1 week you're listing 3 things, and next week it switches, like read a book for 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about this well-being challenge practice?
Yeah, it's just really practicing, mindfulness and coming up with little things to just, like it says, focus on well-being. Whether it's meditating, reading a book, something like a little practice to kind of throw in there, and that's kind of, again, you can wrap that up into your nighttime routine or something like that. And I feel like reflecting definitely kind of goes hand in hand with the well-being type, goal.
Definitely.
So.
This one, you get 5 points just for doing it.
Yeah,
right?
just for doing it. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
And the gratitude practice is really good. List 3 things you're grateful for, you know. It kind of definitely can be a humbling one, and definitely provides you a little sense of gratitude at the end of each day.
Yeah, I like that one. It's nice and simple.
Yeah.
Should easily be able to knock that out either in the morning or at night.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever it may be. Cool. Last thing, reflect at the end of each day. So Whole Life Challenge, there's a little app you can get on your phone, or you can go on the website, I think, to log it.
Right.
Either one works. I like to do the app just so I have it with me. Boom, boom.
Makes it easy.
You log in, there's like a little feed. It's like a social media type thing. You can all write your little reflections, type it out. You can comment, like each other's things. So yeah, reflections. That's kind of how that works. What do you recommend we implement as far as reflections go?
So yeah, whenever you're reflecting, you're kind of just reflecting on everything that you did that day, what went well, maybe things that you can improve on the next day, or just in general throughout this practice. New strategies as well to kind of help you meet your goals, coming up with other little things that would help you. You know, if there's, let's say you're struggling with maybe the nutrition side of things, or let's say, you know, let's actually use the hydration. If you know you're struggling with like the hydration and you go to, like, you didn't hit your quota that day for your points, maybe kind of come up with, you know, a way to implement a couple little goals or, you know, habits.
What am I going to do differently?
What are you going to do differently?
Yeah, I've been struggling with hydration lately. Only got 40 ounces today. Tomorrow I'm going to make sure I add in a water in the morning and a water at night, and then keep those same 40 ounces throughout the day, and then...
Exactly, yeah. The reflecting is really just to make sure that you're staying on track with this stuff and acknowledging kind of what are you doing right and what are things that maybe you can improve upon. Really, that's what the reflecting is big on.
Yeah, I like the reflection. It makes it a little bit more interactive with the community and the group.
100%.
Can comment on each other's stuff and all that stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, that's the fun part about this.
All right. Those are the 7 habits. What else do we have to talk about? A couple questions, it looks like, just to wrap this up. When are we starting this thing?
So this is going to start January 18th. That is a Saturday. That's coming up in, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's today? Yeah.
Yeah.
10 days.
10 days. Oh, a little less than 2 weeks. All right, cool. Yeah, so January 18th. So leading up to that, we're going to, there's a couple measurements that we're going to be doing. We're going to take body fat percentage, body weight, and then we also have a little test workout. We're going to be doing Cindy, so 20-minute AMRAP.
Cool.
Right? 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 air squats.
Yep. And we're just measuring time like that. Just get some standard measurements, see what we...
Exactly.
Hopefully these habits carry over to some physical changes.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? So, you know, take down the amount of rounds and reps that you get, and then we'll do it at the end of the challenge and compare results. Same thing with your body fat and your body weight. So it's that the 17th and the 18th, I'll be doing check-in days. So come in, you can meet with me from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock, Friday the 17th, and Saturday the 18th, 9 a.m. to 12 o'clock.
Right on. We'll post that in the community group.
Yeah, I'll post that in the community group, and you guys can kind of just message me, and we'll set up some times. Just come on in, and it's going to be pretty simple. You know, we'll put you on the scale, pull out the body fat tester, test your body fat, and that's pretty much it as far as measurements go, and check-in dates. Awesome. Anything else you want to cover here? Yeah. So one real quick thing. It costs $39, and it's worth every penny. I will say that's really. I mean, not even $40, $39 for a challenge that is going to promote a lot of healthy changes overall, just fitness and well-being, and improve your health overall. And
it's good, not too much, but enough to where you have a little bit of skin in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a little bit of accountability with the group kind of.
Right. I think that's one of the beautiful things about the Whole Life Challenge too, is you kind of have that group accountability, and we're here for each other. So like I said, throughout this, we'll be posting in that Whole Life Challenge board, because we do have a team board, so you'll be in that board and you can go through, and if you can think of any restaurants or, share any recipes or anything like that, that kind of stuff, to kind of create that accountability and that group effort.
Help each other out.
Exactly, help each other out 100%.
Awesome. Anything else? Mr. Gabe?
No, I mean, that's all I can really think of.
Cool.
That's the Whole Life Challenge.
All right, awesome. Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hopefully, we'll see you there. We'll be in the Whole Life Challenge. Hopefully, you guys are doing it. Yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. Keep posting in the community group about how to do this, how to get involved, get in the workshops, make sure we're meeting Grit Squad, all that good stuff we got going on in the gym. See you guys.
Take it easy.